Skywalker came back, and we're gonna learn how. Welcome, everybody, to the Resistance broadcast. I'm Frank Sinatra. No, I'm John Hoey. How are you? Thanks for joining us. We have a great show today. Yeah, we are pumped because we're going to talk about that whole announcement that came out. Unbelievable. Everyone's going to be pumped about that. Everyone's excited about that. I know I am. I know James is. I know Lacey is. And we're going to talk a lot about it because there's not a lot of news stories today. So we're going to spend a lot of time on that. But how you guys doing? We obviously have something cool to talk about at the top here. But I just want to check in and say, how's it going? Obviously, for our YouTube viewers, Lacey has a different little angle going today. Should probably explain on that a little bit. James, you're wearing...
I didn't notice.
Rocking the mall shirt, James. So you're feeling a little dark side today. How you doing, buddy?
I honestly thought you were insulting like a Hot Topic shirt or something when you said the mall shirt.
You and I are balancing the force today.
Yeah, I guess so. No, things are going good. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the Bad Batch roundtable and stuff like that. But what have you been up to, Lacey? I know you're getting some AC.
Yeah, so this is kind of like my at-home sessions. You know how like popular celebrities like Taylor Swift's like, oh, it's the, COVID home sessions. Like this is the Lacey sessions. And my mic is saran wrapped to a mic stand to do this week's episodes because that's how I roll right now. I'm having AC put in my house. So all my stuff's in boxes. It's like I'm moving into my house for the first time. So yeah, this is fun. I've got a nice little like ASMR warm light aesthetic going. Cool. So hopefully you feel relaxed on a Monday morning with me.
And the audio listeners don't know, are none the wiser.
I know, but maybe you should tune in because it is very calming. It's very nice.
Yeah.
Got Kylo Ren.
Remember our first canteen or first live stream, I lost power and I had to go to my parents' house?
You were in your old bedroom?
I was in my old bedroom and I was using TV tables.
Yeah.
So ridiculous.
Even farther back, my first show, I used to record this show in a closet.
That's right. Oh my God. So weird.
I forgot about that. That was before we moved to video.
We've come.
Yeah. How about that? Look at us. It's like Paul Rudd.
Look at us. Look at us.
All right.
I'm gonna put John and then reverse John on the other side. So it's like
look at us.
Two of him.
Yeah, James, you got to do the roundtable thing with other blogs, media, podcasts, and stuff, and you got to speak with Vanessa Marshall, who's the voice of Harrison Dula, Rebels, now Bad Batch. So why don't you just give us a brief little, what was that like compared to the other ones you've done? We tried to get her to budge a bit, but stone cold. How'd it go?
Yeah, no, I mean that was very cool, and I think their I don't know, their understanding of how to do this stuff over Zoom is just getting better. Like I think I've done 3 now for Bad Batch specifically, and as they've moved along, they've progressively kind of figured out better ways to do it. Even in the first one, I never talked. I actually don't even think like I was even like really there. It felt more like a webinar kind of thing where I was just kind of listening in on what was going on. But the second one I did, with Ming-Na Wen and, now the third one with Vanessa Marshall, obviously they've come a long way. They figured out, how to get people, involved in asking questions and stuff like that. And, although it was a Bad Batch kind of event, I went for a live action question and she just completely dodged it. Now, hey, up to you guys if you want to see if that's like a telling thing, like, maybe she knows that this character is showing up in live action, so she didn't want to give an answer because that could maybe seem like she's either going to be in the show or definitely not going to be in this show. She just didn't want to give anything away, so she just said, "I'm going to deflect and say wherever Dave wants to put that character, it's his character." He knows the story and he knows best, and I could never think to top that. So if you guys want, you can go listen to her answer that question in the video or in the article on Star Wars Newsnet. But yeah, I was like, I tried to incorporate one with the Force, right?
Now you know how John feels when he tries to ask people questions and he just gets dodged.
Yeah.
It's
because you. Long time ago, I think 2017, she was like one of our like big. My God, we got an interview, and you did it. You did it off air. You just recorded it one-on-one and we imported it into our episode. So, and that was probably, you were still asking questions about Rebels and you're trying to get stuff on that. And
Absolutely.
now Rebels is gone and here's Hera still relevant.
Yeah.
But you know what's, I think the most interesting thing is they're not going to do Hera live action without letting her know first.
I think so, yeah.
She's not going to play Hera, let's be honest. And
that'd be kind of rude to not tell her.
Yeah, because you think about the Ashley Eckstein thing. She found out, and she was obviously upset about it, that she didn't get an audition. I would assume Vanessa Marshall probably, writing on the wall, I'm probably not going to audition to play live action Hera would be a good guess. So she probably would, if it is in the works, whenever that happens, she's going to be made aware of it. So maybe you're right, James. Maybe it's already going on. We've been speculating last Monday, whether Hera pops up in Andor. And if that's the case, this show's almost done filming. They did it already. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting to look back on this. Sometimes our listeners look back on our old episodes. I know a lot of them were doing that recently for whatever reason, but it's still cool that you got to talk to a Star Wars actor from one of your favorite Star Wars shows.
Absolutely.
She's so nice too.
Yeah, she's all the tweets of everybody tagging her, she responds to them. She's just very, very cool. So thank you to Vanessa Marshall for doing that. Good job, James, doing that for us. And we have some more stuff to talk about later. Lacey did
before we get started, did you guys ever notice that you're right here?
That we are right here.
This picture is of you guys.
Oh.
I don't even know what you're pointing at.
It's a picture of us with Kylo Ren from Celebration.
Oh, yeah.
Am I in a different camera?
It's been there for a while. Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, yes.
It's been there for a while, but we don't normally see it.
I know, but isn't that so cute? Yeah. I'm so adorable.
It's so cute. Yeah. Right. That was a good one. That's a good one.
Sorry, what were you saying?
I was going to well, Lacey's going to give us a brief little rundown of what she did via the Hasbro Roundtable. But right now, we're going to hop into the Resistance Report and talk some Luke.
It's the Resistance.
My favorite topic.
That's right, John. We are getting ready to talk about Luke Skywalker. Now, here's the thing, is when Disney Gallery came out, they were like, hey, cutting it back a little bit. We're only really doing one this time. We're not doing one per chapter, however they wanted to do it last time. There was a bunch of episodes last time. This time they did one. But we all watched it and we were all very excited to see one aspect of it, and it was not included. There's a big question mark missing. Where was all the stuff about Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker and how they did all the visual effects for that? And it was just gone. And I don't know what everybody else thought, but we just kind of thought they were going to brush over it, never mention it. I don't know. They were sweeping it under the rug, but it looks like all bets are off now. The time has come. Disney Gallery announced that they are doing another special Mandalorian episode for the making of season 2 finale. They are absolutely doing this one episode, and they really let you know that they put bringing Luke back to life and all this other stuff. So this episode is probably going to very heavily lay on that one particular topic, visual effects shot moment, the finale, and how it all came together, and probably have a lot to do with the story and how they wrote in Luke and all this stuff. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to start with you, Lacey, on this one. What are your thoughts on them doing another gallery episode specifically for the final chapter of season 2?
So I was one of those people, and you can go back, guys, on our YouTube channel or on our audio feeds and watch that gallery episode, the last one, where we kind of just thought, it was the one episode. You can go back and watch it and listen to it. I was so disappointed. I was like, what? How did you not talk about this big major moment in not only The Mandalorian, but in Star Wars, that Luke Skywalker is back? And there was such an emotional reaction, not just from me, but so many fans and creators and storytellers and all this other stuff, that you wanted to see that. You wanted to see the build up. You wanted to know if Mark Hamill was involved. which we kind of found out through our interview with Hal Hickle that he was involved.
Yep.
He didn't go to the extent of how. I have to give credit to James here because he said, you know what, maybe they're holding it back for the Emmys and stuff. And so that if they nominate something or they do a reel or something, they don't give it away.
Yeah.
And we found out this week, which we'll get into later in the Resistance Report, that Mark Hamill was nominated for an Emmy for Luke Skywalker. So I got to give James credit. He was right. They held on to it for the reasons that Disney holds on to things, to be secretive with Lucasfilm. But I can't wait. I feel like I'm just saying this because I always say this, but I feel like I'm going to cry this whole episode because I just have such an emotional reaction to Luke Skywalker. There's not a time that I see him and I don't get like teary-eyed that I'm like, it's Luke Skywalker, because it just means so much to me and so many other fans and people that love Star Wars. But I think I'm going to lose it when they interview Mark. Like, as soon as he gets into like how much it means to him and how excited he is and what it meant to him with Jon Favreau, like man, that review episode's gonna be a blast.
Yeah.
Get ready, guys. It's gonna be just mascara.
Because I'm excited to see the visual effects, but it's gonna go beyond that too, and it's also about the story, and Din and Grogu and everything. Like, I think that episode is gonna be very
Mark Hamill
good.
holding that puppet. Oh God, it's gonna be amazing.
Are you sure Hamill was nominated for something?
He was nominated for his guest appearance on The Mandalorian.
Huh. I can't find it.
I just know that because he tweeted about it, and then I wrote in all caps, Mark!
Oh, I think that was for a Saturn.
It was
maybe
a Saturn?
That makes more sense.
I actually thought the same thing, John. I opened up the list. I was like, ooh, I better take a look at that.
I thought he was nominated.
Timothy Olyphant is nominated for guest actor.
He was on that list.
It's not on the list. I'm looking at the official list.
All right. Well, I might have misspoken. So go ahead, John. I'm going to look it up.
We'll try to get
see
our
what
facts
I actually
together.
retweeted because I was just so emotional that Mark was nominated for anything.
I agree completely. This is really cool because we love the gallery.
Drama guest actor. He was nominated for a Gold Derby TV award. Never mind.
Gold
it wasn't
Derby
an Emmy.
TV award. There
That's
you
what
go.
I'm talking
But
about.
Timothy Olyphant was also on this list, so that's why I think I then jumped to automatically it must have been an Emmy. Though I still stand by that James was right that they held on to this because if Mark was getting nominated for stuff, they didn't want to hold back. But still,
possible.
Congrats, Mark, and I can't wait to see you.
Yeah. I think this is going to be just great. The whole gallery thing has been awesome, and I do remember I should have went back and listened for Hal Hickle's quotes. Did either of you do that?
He didn't go into specifics like giving it away, but he said it was the first time he had ever heard Mark Hamill say, "May the Force be with you."
Right. So and I remember him saying something about him being starstruck on set or whatever.
And then Gina Carano said he was on set.
Yeah.
Like there were a couple people that corroborated that he was there.
It is going to be cool seeing him in his old Luke outfit with like face markings on for performance capture and stuff. Now, obviously, if you look at the image of the cameras shooting down the hallway, that's a stuntman. If you zoom in, that's not Mark Hamill's face. We get that. But, the stuff where he's stationary at the door and probably saying, "Come here, little one," and that whole thing he probably did. And, they didn't necessarily probably have to do that. Look what they did with Tarkin, obviously without having Peter Cushing around. But it's just the fact that we know he was there. And
that's
how much
what it is for me. Like, just
and how much it meant to
room.
him. How much it meant to him. Because, I don't want to bring it up too much, but he still had, I think, a bad taste in his mouth with the whole Last Jedi thing. And he wanted to be Luke the hero, and he got a chance to do it. And it clearly meant a lot to him, and I don't think anyone should smite him for that. So I love that it meant a lot to him. I love that he came back to do it. I love that they kept the secret. Lacey, you keep saying how important that is. I agree. But in addition to seeing him, which is going to really, I think, hit a lot of us pretty hard, even those of us who aren't filming ourselves watching it, I think hearing them talk about how they approached him, hearing him talk about how he was approached, I want to hear how Favreau wrote it. And I want to hear everything about that part of it, how it all came to be. I'm very, very excited to see this. August 25th can't come soon enough, but man, it's gonna be awesome. And we have to do a reaction episode to it. I don't mean like a live watch reaction.
Mando
like
fan show, baby.
Yeah, we got to do that. And I think it's gonna be one of those things in this era that everybody is going to love, and that's hard to come by. And we have to embrace that stuff because that's really important for fandom. And it's just a win-win. It's a win-win. I'm so glad they did it. And that was the thing. We were all scared. And I remember when we were talking it was after Hal Hickel, or maybe before we had Hal Hickel on, we were saying, no, it was right after the gallery thing they did. And we said, why didn't they do it? And we thought because they were just trying to put a skeleton crew together with as little cameras as possible to protect it. I guess not. And they still kept the secret. That's amazing. So we got the surprise and we're getting this. That's so awesome. It's incredible. I can't wait.
Yeah, so now we have the Baby Yoda and Luke, the second season, where I have that moment that it's just like, no. And there's those little, first season, it was the ears. As soon as you saw the ears, you knew what it was. And then the X-Wing, you were like, oh my God. And then they were like, the belt buckle. And you're like, no.
Oh, right. Right. Yeah. And we got to see it. We got to see a photo of George Lucas holding Grogu. And now we're going to see Mark Hamill. That's really special. It really is. And, these folks aren't, I've said this before, these actors aren't going to be around forever. We lost, Peter Mayhew, Kenny Baker.
Why you got to go there?
Carrie Fisher. George Lucas is still a living person on this planet. Mark Hamill is still with us. That's like when people say Paul McCartney's still alive. It's an amazing thing that we take for granted. And they're here still involved in doing this stuff. We have to take a breath and realize how awesome that is. And I am so excited for this. I'm very happy for this, and I can't really say anything more on it.
Man, what haven't you guys said? I mean, there's a lot in this. 24 nominations. It's crazy. Outstanding prosthetic makeup, outstanding music composition for a series. I'm not going to name them all.
Does it lead? Is it leading or something beating it? Do we know? I feel like it was leading in nominations.
Oh, for a number of nominations?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I do think it is leading.
Well, it beat its own record. Last season 1 was 18, I think.
There's no Game of Thrones, so they're all like, it's our time.
Yeah, currently, right now, it has 39 nominations, including the first and second season, which is huge for, 2 seasons of a show.
Yeah.
Favreau's like, give me more money.
Yeah, outstanding supporting actor in a drama, outstanding guest actor in a drama, outstanding drama series just as a whole, sound editing, production design. I mean, it goes all over the place. We really are spoiled. The fact that, there's a lot of television out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And maybe this podcast exists because we're finding the right stuff, but I like to think this podcast exists because of stuff they did years and years and years ago, and we're just still being treated to great content from that same franchise.
Right.
We're not doing the show because, it's a new show that's out that everybody's talking about or something like that. It's like we were bought in years and years and years ago. Here we are, we're talking about Star Wars, and they just keep delivering. Every piece of new content is always some of the best animated stuff, some of the best live action stuff, no matter what it is. I think I just saw recently even that Jedi Fallen Order has sold so many copies. It's an unbelievable number of copies, and it's even in the video game world, it's still massively successful and doing really well. It's a game that people want to play. So
sequel.
So I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah.
Sequel's coming.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. That is not on this week's news because they didn't announce anything, but I think it's kind of news that they aren't going to announce any video game news this year at all. And they actually put out a thing that said no Star Wars this year. We will be back next year to unveil everything. It's okay.
Celebration.
Right, yeah.
Do you think they'll ever make a game based on any of the series? Imagine they made an Obi-Wan game. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, they're working on a Mandalorian game. We talked about it a couple months ago.
Is it but is it one of those games where it's it's kind of a game, but it's one of those apps, or is it an actual video game?
The rumor is that it's a game. like an open world
well,
game.
it's just a rumor. That this isn't an official thing. It's just something floating around.
No, yeah.
But I'm saying it's coming from a place of people have like evidence. It's not just like someone like heard it.
That's interesting.
Sure.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah. Sometimes news like just comes in and comes out, and then we don't hear about it for a very long time. But yeah. Going back to this, man, I am absolutely pumped to watch this episode. I think just like if you were to tell me they were only going to do one episode on, like either the first episode or the last episode, it'd be hard to pick, but they pretty much nailed all the first episode stuff and how they brought that to life in that other episode of Gallery. And now that we're getting the second one, I'm like, yes, I'm so glad you are leaning into the last episode. 'Cause that's the other big takeaway from this season. I don't know. Yeah. I don't even know what to say about this. I'm just so pumped, actually. I'm kind of just thrown about the news and how it came in, and just like the first thing I did when I saw it is like went right to our chat and I was like, Lacey, did you see this?
And I wrote in all caps. I was like, yes, of course I did.
Of
Wait,
course.
James, do you have is there something specific that you're hoping to get out of this or see discussed or shown? Is there like one thing you're like, man, I really hope we get a look at blank? Or is there like anything like...
Ooh, yeah. You know what? I know they will show this, but they will probably not show it in as much detail as I would like. And that's going into detail on how they did let's call it de-aging.
Right.
Like, I don't know
The
that that's
face
exactly the
melding
technology that they're using here. But there's like, even when I talked to Hal, I was trying to get him to kind of lead on to like the kind of technology they use there. And he was referring to Corridor Crew and how they did their thing. And they were like, now I can't think of what it's called. I just thought of the name. Deep fake. That technology and all that. And how is what ILM doing different than what, not the average, but like a YouTuber or a group of people building something on their own? Like, how is that different? And I don't know that they're really going to go into that, because I think what they generally like to do is they like to just showcase. I think we've talked about this a lot when it comes to the volume itself. I go, please tell me more about it. And they just kind of always talk about it without saying any of the technical details.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's like, I want to know how it works. Not so much like just the overall, like what it is, or trying to re-explain it to somebody who maybe doesn't understand it. I'm like, I understand it. I want you to tell me the technology behind it.
They just show you the before and after. They're like, we take this guy's face and put it here. And you're like, okay, but how? And they're like, doesn't it look great? Moving on.
Yeah.
And you're like, no, wait.
Yeah. We used all of the best, newest technologies we had. And I'm like, what are the technologies? Tell me.
We rendered for 17 hours. And you're like, okay, but what was the program?
We asked Tickle about that. And he kind of said like, yeah, they did their thing and they do it a certain way. And, we have our way of going about it. And that's up to people to decide what they think. But
he had mentioned that they got the finished product and then did stuff over that. And then also that they're doing stuff without moving, right? That's what he said?
No. To be clear, yeah. He was saying he commended Corridor Crew specifically because... Right. Most of the time when you see those deepfakes and stuff on the internet, they are working off of the framework that already is the movie or the visual effects shot that they have. And they are like tweaking it to make it look better in, their opinion, he says. It's kind of like half dozen the other, But he says where he commended Corridor Crew is that they didn't do that. They actually attempted to start from scratch with a different subject, added their own lighting to that subject, and then like did it from there. And to this day, like I notice that Luke looks a little weird, but I go to that Corridor Crew clip and I'm like, no, this looks way wrong to me. And I
loved what they did.
I like what they did too, but
I'm saying ILM. I prefer Lucasfilm did to what everybody was like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, okay, but you're photoshopping a still image. I'm not saying those guys, but a lot of people were like, well, what about this? And I'm like, it's completely different.
Oh, they could probably go in and make upgrades to it.
Yeah.
If technology improves too, you know?
What I liked
they removed
about
Gene's guy from the Mandalorian episode, you can update things, you know?
What I like
and just
about
think about
that
the technology too. Yeah,
is
sorry,
that
go ahead, James.
they're explaining that technology. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, they're like, okay, so here's how it works. Here's what we're doing. This is how that process comes about to what you're actually seeing on screen. And that is something like when I watch their channel, I go, okay, cool. Yeah, I see how this is all done. And then when I imagine, I'm kind of guessing here, when we watch the gallery, they'll just brush over it and just talk about how amazing it was. And I'm like, okay, but I do wish that you would get into the details of how it's done. Yeah.
They always keep it pretty high level, even like behind the scenes, Disney rides and stuff. They always keep specifics under wraps.
Yeah. So Lacey, take John's question and bounce it back at you. What's something you're hoping for in this episode?
Mark Hamill on camera talking about what it means to him. 100%.
Yeah.
That's all I really want. Like, I love the technology stuff, but if I had to choose between that and Mark Hamill's thoughts, I want Mark Hamill's thoughts, especially whether you agree with it or not. He had a very, personal, emotional reaction to The Last Jedi, which I feel like a lot of fans, including myself, had, just because it wasn't what we were expecting. So what he wrote online after the fact of how much it meant to him and everything, like John was talking about, I can't wait to hear him talk about it, especially because they're going to be interviewing him that day, I bet. Like on set, arriving. I bet they had a camera from the moment he stepped out of the car.
Oh, yeah. There's a shot of him looking at the outfit for the first time in 35
or hanging out with the stunt double. Yeah. Absolutely.
Holding
the
lightsaber. Yeah, that's a big one. And
I'm telling you, I'm going to cry this whole episode.
The green lightsaber and everything.
I will bet money that he makes a comment about how it's like the same, or like or maybe it's something different about it, or something like that. But I think when he sees that outfit with the robe and stuff, he's gonna get emotional.
I was gonna say, if he cries, it's over for me.
And then he got emotional doing the Last Jedi stuff. I imagine putting on the same outfit from it's probably tailored into new outfit, but it's the same Luke outfit from Return of the Jedi, almost to a T. 38 years later. That's a big thing, because he was very emotional about doing the scenes with Yoda after that long of time.
Yeah.
Putting that outfit on where he was like the peak Luke for a lot of fans. I think he's gonna get.
You sure he's wearing that outfit?
The emotional.
It might just be using his neck down, so he's gonna be in one of those tight green screens.
No, they definitely put him in the outfit. He's definitely. I think the shot where he removes the hood and he's walking in is Mark Hamill, if I was to guess.
Yeah.
No.
But going off what John just said, that's my peak Luke. Is Return of the Jedi, taking guys out at Jabba's palace, that is. When I think of Luke Skywalker, that's what I think of.
Why, where did this thing come where fans are like, Luke Skywalker would never hurt anybody or whatever? And it's just like, he, first of all, they were droids.
What do you mean?
He was crushing. Some people were very upset with how aggressive Luke was crushing those droids, like with the fist and crunching their throat.
He choked out the Gamorrean guards at the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
That was the sickest part. When I was like 8, I was like, yeah, get him.
Exactly. So So I was always thrown by that. I'm like,
yeah, that is weird.
Luke beats people up.
He's also clearly just cutting through everybody on Jabba's. They're shooting him with blasters. He's bouncing them back, and they're knocking him off. And
he's cutting people in half. Yeah.
Well,
kicking people into the Sarlacc pit and everything. Yeah. Force kicking.
He's swinging that thing like a baseball
But the
bat.
aggression is there, though, and that's something that's kind of looked into.
I don't know that the aggression is there, though.
The way he chokes out the guards at the beginning of Jabba's palace? Absolutely.
Oh, I thought you were saying about the robot guards.
The droids, I think he's just on defense, but he's adding a little bit of sass, Skywalker way, being like, look how
what
great
I thought was interesting about him walking in was how calm he was. I felt like he never felt like he was in danger. So there was no aggression. There was no like, why is this person attacking me? So he's going to like fight back. It was very much like, oh, if you come at me, yep, okay, well, I'll just have to get rid of you and move you out of the way. Yeah.
The whole thing about Return of the Jedi was kind of like, oh wow, Luke's wearing black and now he's choking this person. Like, is he turning dark side? So that was the the teaser.
I don't know. I whispered that. I love that. I love it.
It was cool. Yeah, but this is gonna be so awesome.
Did they not tease that as like in trailers? Like, I feel like I remember people saying they remember going to the theater and seeing the trailer for Return of the Jedi and seeing Luke and Vader like in the same room standing next to each other.
Yeah.
People were like, oh my gosh, like it's like the hand holdout of Kylo. It's like,
or like
whoa!
Rey holding Kylo's lightsaber in the trailer.
Yeah, but the trailers like these days are way more like, let's keep them guessing, where back then it was more like, this is what happens in this movie. And like you saw like
no,
you saw
I
like Luke
understand.
Skywalker with his green lightsaber,
I think he's just saying people assumed that they were like,
I think
I think they
we're
wanted
going,
to keep it a little like,
what the heck is going to
curious.
happen in this movie if like Luke and Vader are standing next to each other and he's in all black and all this? It's like that speculation of him turning to the dark side and then going into the theater and seeing like what he's doing in Jabba's palace. It's like, this is a different Luke, Now we're so used
absolutely.
to it.
From the one that was crying and giving up and holding his hand at the end of Empire Strikes Back. Like, this is a completely different dude.
Yeah.
I'm watching the theatrical trailer now to see if
In the middle of our show, you're just gonna let me just pop this up real quick.
Let me just pull it up. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just really excited to see Mark. I think, and I always will. I always will be so excited to see what Mark thinks, what is going on. He to me is Star Wars.
I think it's funny that we moved from our second story back to our first, because technically we're talking about all the awards and nominations right
This is not the Resistance broadcast anymore. This is the Luke Skywalker broadcast.
Dude, everyone look up not us right now, but I'm saying our listeners, after the podcast, watch the Return of the Jedi theatrical trailer from 1982. It's basically a summary of the movie. Like
they went all out. They're like, so please go see this.
They did not care. Back then, it wasn't about the secret mystery box or anything. It was like, this is what is going to happen in this movie, and you're going to go see it.
What if they're like, this summer, Luke Skywalker will fight off a guy named Jabba the Hutt. They'll unfreeze Han from carbonite, and then they'll go meet up at the moon of Endor, where they tell you
their
the
brother
whole
and
plot.
sister. They are romantic.
Yoda will die, and then Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness will be back.
My favorite part about the trailer is it's chronological. Like it starts
they don't skip
at
around.
Jabba's.
Oh.
You go to Endor. They show Vader and Luke fighting. They show the space battle. It's just like, imagine a Star Wars trailer today did that.
You would just be able to guess the whole movie because people would sit there and break apart each part and be like, oh, well, clearly this is the map of the story.
But like back then, people didn't care about that. And now people do. So now they're almost forced to make it,
because
mysterious.
we're crazy. We get pumped about a commercial for the product that we're paying to see.
Yeah.
Give me all the trailers, though.
I still have that unpopular opinion that when it comes to Star Wars, I wish they would show me clips that aren't in the movie. I'd be totally cool with an entire trailer full of stuff that actually isn't in the movie, but it's all like the tone and it looks exactly like the movie.
TFA. TFA was all about that in their trailers. They showed a ton of stuff that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, sort of. Also Rogue One too, but that was a little bit of a different story because I think those things were intended to be in the movie and then they didn't make it in.
Rogue One came up in the Hasbro conversation. I'll have to share that later. Remind me. Something about that changed.
Yeah.
But I would be cool if they did things like they're like, oh, here is a character, that is in the movie, and it's like, oh, that character's obviously important in the movie, but it's like the scene of them doing whatever they're doing is not in the movie, and it's irrelevant to the story. I would be okay with that, but I know that's unpopular. I think we've even done that as a poll before, and most people are like, nah, show me clips from the movie. I don't know. Do you guys have anything else to say about this or the fact that it's up for 24 Emmys?
I hope it wins them all.
I want more Mandalorian.
Yeah.
If I would have thought about this, I would have asked you guys to try to guess which ones you think this will win.
Read them out. How many there? 14?
There's 24.
Oh.
Just look at special effects and sound editing, and that's probably it.
Yeah, I'm going to say, well, how many did it win last season? Do we know? Win?
One or two?
Here. 1, 2, 3,
One for
4,
special effects, I
5,
think.
6, 7. It won 7 of 17.
But in two categories, like I'm saying, like areas, like special effects, sound, you know.
Did it win for music? No.
Yeah, outstanding music composition for a series.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It won outstanding production design for a narrative program, outstanding sound editing for a comedy or drama, outstanding cinematography for a single camera series.
It had to win for production because of the
coordination
volume.
for a drama series.
Yeah.
Outstanding visual effects.
Yeah, it's never going to win writing, directing, or acting.
It might. It depends what they
sound
submitted.
Mixing is the last one it won.
I mean, Chapter 9 should win because Favreau just absolutely crushed that.
Chapter 1 too.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
say
Well,
I'm gonna
Chapter
say
1
that it's gonna win.
Sorry, not chapter 1. I meant we're saying the same thing. Chapter 9 is chapter 1,
Yes.
episode
Yeah.
1 of season 2. Yes.
I'm gonna say 10. Do you guys want to try to?
How many it'll win?
Yeah, I think it'll win 10 of these.
Ooh, this is a good bet. This is a good one. I'm still, by the way, I still have to get pied at some point.
I don't really have a lot of stock in this. I'm just throwing
James
it out
has to
there.
get pied too. John has a pie debt right now. So now, James, we got to be right so then we can all just pie each other
Yeah.
or
at
just
the
cancel
same
it out.
time.
Cancel pie.
Out of 24, I'm going to go with 14.
12.
Oh, John's in the middle.
Yep.
James, what'd you say, 10?
But we're not doing a pie bet on this. We have too many.
No,
I
we're
think
not,
we should.
but-
No,
No.
it's too many outstanding.
Why? Are you afraid?
No, so we're losing the luster. If we do the pie bets all the time, then they're not as special.
We're not doing them all the time. James is from like last year. Mine is from like earlier this year. We're almost halfway through the year.
only do
I don't
them
think
when
any of us are really like dead set on this belief to get pied by it, though. We're just like guessing a number. How many Emmys will the Mandalorian season
That's a good poll for
2
Patreon.
win?
So if you want to be a part of that poll, sign up for Patreon. Patreon.com/resistance.
One less thing I should do now.
John, you said 14? Or no,
12. How
12.
dare you?
And she said
14.
14.
I don't care.
Who got that? Say in the comments if you got that quote. Don't say what it is.
I got it.
Okay, so if you guys want to talk about a couple other things that are happening in Star Wars news right now, there is. I just want to mention this again because we talk about it every once in a while, but the bounty. War for the Bounty Hunters stuff is going on right now in the comics, and Star Wars Newsnet is covering each and every issue as they come out.
Yep.
Right.
You know, Dengar's getting his special. Jabba the Hutt is getting his special. Qi'ra is in these if you guys want to go check them out. There's a lot of really cool stuff that's happening. If I wasn't in the middle of the High Republic books right now, I keep reading them and like I want to go back to the comics because I know there's some stuff going on here. I can't wait to catch up and get on with this stuff. But if you are not able to dive in by for money reasons, like you don't want to buy all the issues or whatever, Star Wars Newsnet does these great like spoiler reviews where they put in pictures of like the important panels that kind of give you the story. They walk you through it. So head over to Star Wars Newsnet, check that stuff out. You can kind of keep up with it without having to keep up with it. The other thing is I want to get to this Lacey Hasbro interview because I don't know. I think this stuff is so interesting, and it's a great opportunity for Lacey to be able to talk and not talk, but like talk to Hasbro and share some stuff. Yeah.
I'm actually pumped. This is, I think, the third or fourth one I've done with them this year, which is insane. They've done a ton of them. And people have their thoughts about Hasbro, and especially with exclusives going to different retailers. These guys care about what fans think, and they want to not only be a business and sell toys, but they really want to make stuff that people are excited about. So it's always fun to talk to them about this kind of stuff because they go into the details of this is why we did what we did. And they also tease a little bit of like, hey, we can't tell you what's coming, but stuff is coming. So I I mean, they didn't go crazy reveals. I know there was something that went online where I believe Patrick in a different round, because they do a bunch of different round tables. They did a different one with a different group, and they let it slip that maybe the HasLab Black Series coming up might be a Rancor, which if it is, there goes my money, because I am a huge Rancor fan.
See ya.
But I can't say yes or no if that's the truth. I know that they kind of let it slip, but that stuff happens. I mean, what's his name? Chapek slipped about Solo, and we haven't heard anything about that. So,
Right.
but I did get to ask them about the Dave Filoni figure. That I was actually the only person that really asked about it, and I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I asked them about, being that the creators are just as much about Star Wars as the characters. Will we ever see any cool like creator line? Because they've done it for Funko, and they've done it for, I think NECA has done Guillermo del Toro figures and stuff. So I was like, that would be really fun to do like a J.J. Abrams figure. But they said right now they're really focused on the canon stuff, and because Trapper Wolf is a canon character, that's how it kind of happened. And currently right now he will never be getting a cowboy hat unless Favreau gives him one. So, or in story he has one. So I'm just hoping that Favreau will hear this and just give him a cowboy hat. Let it happen, so that then they can be like, well, it is canon that he has a cowboy hat. But other than that, they're working to get exclusives that haven't been going well with some of their retailers to fix those problems. I know they're making the backs for some of the vintage collection figures thicker so that they don't bend in shipment. And they definitely have more things to announce going into later this year. So that's cool. But yeah.
I don't want them to give him the cowboy hat.
I think it would be funny, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I want a Paul figure. I want a Carson Teva figure.
Yes.
I want that before the cowboy hat. And I actually, really quick, I do find this interesting with Hasbro, and I love that they say this. Patrick and his team are always very quick to stress to fans, especially fan sites that are very, honest and willing to criticize about different things. Hey, when are we getting this? And I'm guilty of it too. Like, hey, when are we getting a Ben Solo? I ask them that all the time. Their reaction to that is, if I give you blank, then you don't get blank. So it's kind of this game of, okay, you want another version of Ahsoka, but that takes away from this alien over here that we haven't done yet. So just keeping that in mind when you're giving feedback or thinking about what figures you want to see, because they can only make so many. And the exclusives that come through Amazon or Walmart or Target only get made because those distributors and retailers pay for those figures to be made. So if they don't get them, they don't get made. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation. It was more on the technical end, I think, more than anything else. But they definitely have more stuff coming. And now I'm intrigued about this Rancor thing. I'm going to have to shoot them a follow-up email and be like, so WTF?
Yeah.
And I haven't seen Rey's lightsaber yet, but I got one from Galaxy's Edge, but I have not seen it yet. But, and the sequel trilogy stuff. I did ask them about that because the Lucasfilm 50th year on the timeline on the back of the figures has all these different parts of the 50 years of Lucasfilm, which includes some of the sequel trilogy movies. They said that it's more of a look to the past into like classic Star Wars and classic Lucasfilm than it is to like current. So basically they told me no, we will not be getting any sequel trilogy figures. So hopefully someday soon, because I would really love to see, like I said, a Ben Solo, or, I just feel like there's a lot of characters we didn't get to see from Solo, especially at that Sabacc game that I've always wanted to see.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. I'm always interested in that type of stuff, like what makes it so that a certain character gets picked or something like that. Because I know they're saying
is probably number one. I mean,
what?
It's
Will
usually
It Sell is probably number one.
fan requests, but they've been really focused on this year, especially the world building aspect. So they want to create figures and sets that allow for people to build the worlds that they want to build, either in dioramas or photos or in collections that you have, like the Cantina set where you get Ponda Baba and Obi-Wan in the bar, and I believe the distillery part and the cups all come together because they're all about that. Yeah,
cool.
The world building.
Yeah.
Do you guys follow any like toy photographers? Ones that like set up scenes
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah, they're cool. Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's that one? Jason we met in
Jason. Yep.
Work More or Less, I think is his thing.
Yep.
He does
great.
like funny ones too, where he'll do like he did one recently where Jason, I don't know if you listen to the show, but you're getting a plug. He did Boba Fett taking a selfie with Han and Carbonite.
He did the Mando, I believe, with Grogu, who he built a Razor Crest out of cardboard for Grogu.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and I actually also love Sergeant Bananas, is his name. My buddy,
Oh, okay.
Sergeant Bananas. He's on
Sergeant
Instagram.
Bananas.
On Instagram. He actually works with Hasbro a lot. And we met over Instagram because I was like, your pictures are great. And then I was in Hasbro's booth at San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years ago, and I heard someone be like, Lacey? And I turn around and there's Sergeant Bananas.
That's bananas.
I know. But it just proves you like this community is so awesome and you just meet people all the time.
Yeah.
that
No
you
question.
didn't realize.
Yeah,
No
I was
question.
looking for the one that I follow, Plastic Action. Does anybody know that one?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a recent Star Wars one that I'm looking for to see specifically what it was, but he always has like really creative ideas too. Like he'll mix two things together.
Is he the one that did
two
La
brands.
La Land with Civil War, where he had Tony Stark and Captain America doing the La La Land dance?
Maybe.
Is it
Here's one with Grogu and
Is that Mars
the
Attacks?
Mars Attacks alien. Yeah. Trying to line it up for both cameras there, but yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that is cool.
I always love the behind the scenes shots of like how they did it. Like they'll show you like how they blow, like they have a fog machine or a smoke machine that does smoke so that they can get like explosions and
Yeah, they usually have
firecrackers.
like three images where you can like
Yeah.
see the final version, and then you see like a behind
Yeah.
the scenes, and then you see like a video
with
of
the
behind the scenes
wire
or something.
of like the action figure like in the air. Yeah, that's really cool. It's a really cool community. If you want to check it out on Instagram, that's where they're mostly.
Here is Luke Skywalker on Bespin, and
Nice.
he's being approached by Darth Vader from Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's really good. I like that. I come from
funny.
planet Vulcan.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that is it for the Resistance Report this week. We got a pod race to get to. Lacey, can you tell us more about that?
I can once I get it up on my screen. Wah, wah, wah.
Once I get it up on my screen.
All right, guys, it's time for the Patreon pod race. So there are lots of ways you can support us. You can like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at The Resistance Broadcast. But if you want more, including extra episodes, polls, fun live events where you can watch stuff with us live, like different movies and episodes and all different cool stuff, you can head over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast. Starting at $2 a month, you get access to the page. And as you go up in the ranks, you get more access to us. If I say access one more time, yeah, it's really fun. But this is the part of the show that we let our generals and spice runners be a part of the show, where we ask them a question, they give us an answer, and we talk about it. So first, I want to say thank you to some of our generals, well, not all our generals and our spice runners. Thank you to CARMELO, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, John RISI, Jetta Rosewater, Paul Olson, Jake Houchins, Oliver Lewis, Frank Grande, Haas, Joe Ritchie, Darth Hurricane, Timothy Hill, John Chorlton, Nick Kratz. I always mess up your name, Nick. I'm so sorry. Christian Morales and Val Trichkoff. Thank you guys so much. And our Spice Runners, David Probus, Neil Shaw, Double C Chris, Kendall Gelnar, Ryan Wara, Dave Hornack, and Micah Harrison.
Thanks,
And
guys.
just a little bit of a behind the scenes thing. We do a really fun monthly chat with our admirals, generals, and spice runners. We just did a trivia night with them. It was a
Yes.
blast. And the past year has been crazy for a lot of people, including this year, because things are just like trying to get back to normal. But this community is something that's been really consistent as a really shining bright spot in the galaxy for us. And we thank you for being a part of it. And if you're interested, it's always a good time to join, and we'd love to have you.
And shout out
Yep.
real quick, because we do a quarterly trivia thing on those calls with our admirals, generals, and spice runners. And shout out to Jake Houchins, one of our generals, for winning this recent round. And he got to take home, we're sending him Babu Frick. So
A
we give away
Babu
stuff
Frick.
on those. Yeah, very cool. It's a talking big guy, and we're sending that out to Jake. So congrats to Jake. Shout out, buddy.
Nice. And it was super fun. It's just, we always end up talking about food. I don't know why. And then
I'm always I'm so hungry, like after those calls.
Yeah.
I'm so hungry after those.
Yeah. And then on a personal note, my hand is pretty much broken. I've written so many transmissions in the past 2 weeks. I've gotten it takes me a while to get through them because there's just so many, which is an awesome problem to have. Mm-hmm. And it's not really a problem. It's just really cool. But I'm really excited for those people to get their stickers and notes this week because I've just been bombarding my mailman. So sorry, mailman, whatever your name is. All right. So up this week, we have Jeremy Myers. Thank you, Jeremy, for doing this. We know it was a little hectic this week, but we appreciate you doing it. The question was Star Wars was a movie franchise first. Whose movie are you most excited about considering the little information that we have about them? Patty Jenkins, Taika Waititi, or Kevin Feige? And why? Jeremy, take it away.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I don't know. So I think it's a toss-up for me. I'm not really familiar with Patty's work other than Wonder Woman, and both were great. A little weird and long at times for me in those movies. Entourage was great series, love that. But Taika is awesome. I think his is going to be the the continuation of what he's done so far. But I think I am, being a Marvel guy, Kevin Feige, and what he brings to the table is going to be what I'm most interested in, because I would love to see if he can make Star Wars films and projects be as successful as the Marvel run has been for him. And I don't know, to me, can point to him to being the backbone of Marvel and what they've done. But hoping it's the best. I'm really looking forward to all three, though. So hope you guys are well and enjoying the summer. General Jeremy out.
Well done, Jeremy. Awesome job. Thanks again for doing that on such short notice. Appreciate it. John, what'd you think?
Good. I mean, it's definitely a good answer. It makes a lot of sense because Feige has the biggest track record of the three. He's an amazing producer, and working with Kathleen Kennedy, I think they'll knock something out that is going to be something special. My pick would be Taika, but I like his reasonings there. I forgot Patty Jenkins did work on Entourage. I completely forgot about that because I used to love Entourage, and I'm actually thinking about doing a rewatch myself. So thanks for reminding me of that. But yeah, you're right. Taika is going to bring it. But yeah, Feige, you're right. The allure is there because of what he's done with Marvel. So I think that's a great answer, Jeremy. Great job as always. You always give a thorough explanation as to why you answer the way you do, and I love that. But most importantly, hope you and the family are doing well out there in Cali. Hope business is going well, and thank you for the support as always. John out.
James?
I'm with John on this. Actually, it's a good answer, and I would think that it would be Kevin Feige would be my thing. But I started actually thinking about the Marvel movies in general. I love the Marvel movies, but I love the Marvel movies because they all connect and stuff. And a single Marvel movie is not that great, but I think a single Taika movie does usually hold up. You know what I mean? Like no matter what it is. So I think my vote is going to be Taika on this, but I totally understand where you're coming from, Jeremy, especially since he's now dipped his toe in all of the television stuff that's coming out, and that just continues to get praise, so I am with you, Jeremy, on that regard, but I think I'm with John on the sense that I'd probably go with Taika if I had to pick one. But hey, that's a good answer, and so glad to always see you on the show.
Well, I'm going to be boring, Jeremy. You have a great answer. You're awesome. We love having you on the show. Kevin Feige is a great answer. I don't think you could do wrong with any of these answers, actually, because I go back to this all the time, but It's true. I picked Patty and Taika as my choices for directors, and I won. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm winning the game that no one knew existed because that's how I operate. That being said, I'm going to be boring and say I agree with these guys that Taika would have been my choice. Ragnarok is just so good. I don't think I've ever laughed harder at a Marvel movie than Ragnarok, and I lost it watching the Deadpool Krog reaction video that they did together. Korg. Yeah, Korg. Sorry, the Korg.
Killer Krog.
Yeah, the Korg. I just know him as the rock guy. The reaction video that they did on Twitter. So if you guys haven't seen it, head over to Ryan Reynolds' page and definitely watch it. They react to one of his trailers for his movies, which at this point, Ryan Reynolds is like a joke in itself. It's like he's like doing the same thing. Yeah, it's just so funny. But yeah, no, I'm excited for that. Thank you so much for doing this again. We really appreciate it. We love having you on the show. You're just such a fun fan to talk with and have a good time and talk about Star Wars. So yeah, now we're gonna head back to John.
Yeah, I mean, we only have a few minutes. Usually, however much time we have left at the end of the Monday shows. That's another thing about the Patreon. Like, we do poll our resistance officers for feedback on what they like that we do. I mean, they say they like everything, which we love, but what they like
so
more.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tell us the truth.
The open chats have been very popular with our patrons, and we assume that funnels down to also just our listeners in general. So whatever time we have, they usually take us up to the hours, what we do here. We only have a couple minutes here, so I don't really have too much.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So how do you guys feel with Mark Hamill being Luke Skywalker and coming back to the Mandalorian?
It's so funny. Hilarious. I wonder how far this goes, though. Like, do you think that was a one and done?
No.
James brought up the Ahsoka thing, and I'm starting to think that that's going to happen.
I feel like when we watch that thing, it may sway people's opinions on different ways. Some people who think it was one and done, maybe they tease like, oh, did you like that? Well, guess what? We may not be done yet or something, So I'm curious what that August 25th thing's going to give us.
They have to bring Grogu back, so that's the thing, is like, if he's there, then Luke's got to be there.
I'm actually worried about how they're going to bring Grogu back. Is it just going to be like...
What's your nightmare? Like, what happens that then you're like, this is my nightmare?
I don't know if this is my nightmare, but I think just them being like, oh, just kidding. He went with Luke, but it didn't work out. Like, something has to come of that.
He just gets left in an egg on his doorstep.
Well, no. So question here. Do you think he's back season 3, episode 1?
No. Do you?
I don't think it's impossible. I think especially if they do that, they're like, Mandalorian season 3 is actually taking 5 years, takes 5 years later or something like that. They could easily explain it away and still have the show be the show. The show is Mandalorian and Grogu. So, we ended, this was part of the story. He goes with Luke, but we're going to pick up, where, this happens. Like,
do you think, James, do you think it's the whole thing? Like, a lot of people are speculating, oh, it's got to do with the Kylo Ren in the temple and Grogu survives or something. Yeah, no. I don't either. I don't
think they're even going to touch that.
I don't either. I really don't. Yeah.
No, yeah, I see that meme come up a lot where people are like putting the pieces together, and it's like, oh, when you realize, and they put all those pieces together and they're like, this means that Kylo Ren killed Grogu or whatever. And I'm like, I just really don't even think they're going to touch it,
Yeah.
I think Grogu will have been long gone from the care of Luke Skywalker by that point. There's so much more to the Mandalorian that they're going to tell what happens to that character beyond being with Luke.
Because how many years until... Because didn't Kylo show up when he was like 12? What was the age when Kylo went to Luke's? Wasn't it like 12, 11?
I don't remember.
So then Grogu has to be what? He's 50. And then Ben Solo's like 1.
I'm going to say it's 10 years after Mandalorian that event would have taken place.
Right. That's a long time. That's the point I'm making. Is like, even if you were just estimating, like, that's a long time that they're not going to be like, yeah, Grogu's gone for 10 years.
Right. Yeah. It'll be interesting because you're right. You'd have to time jump the Mandalorian. It's just messy. Something's going to happen where Luke has to bring him back, or Grogu had to leave, or who knows. But they'll figure it out. There's no one I trust more than Jon Favreau, so he'll figure it out.
I've been watching his chef show. I trust him with anything at this point.
Because he wrote
Grilled
season
cheese,
3 already.
Cake.
Chef is good. The movie Chef is very good, actually.
I have to watch it, but I've been watching the chef show where he goes and like cooks and stuff. I would. Oh my God, I wish he could.
Now
cook
imagine that with a good story, and that's Chef the movie.
He's just so likable. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone so likable as Jon Favreau, and I would argue he is the most likable person.
Well, when I saw him at the premiere of The Last Jedi, I gotta say, he walked like a very likable guy.
You're the worst. You're the
You
worst.
guys want to hear something funny? So I was like thinking of
He
something.
walked like a likable guy.
I was trying to think of something fun we could talk about, and I was like, okay, so like, what's a popular TV show or movie or something right now? And then I was like, okay, Loki. And then I was like, oh, what if someone who wrote Loki, Michael Waldron? Would we like Michael Waldron to write a star? And then I was like, this is already happening. What am I talking about?
It's happening.
Yeah. That literally, that whole thing happened in my head. I was like, what's something we could talk about? Loki, Michael Waldron writing a Star Wars movie. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. He already is. Yeah. I guess now we could bring that up, like, since we don't normally talk about like Loki and stuff. We don't have to go on that.
Good.
The show is completed now. How do we feel
Season
about
1
Michael
is.
Waldron?
I haven't watched Loki yet.
You haven't finished it, but you've watched. No, you haven't watched any of it. Okay.
He wanted to wait till it was completed so that he could watch it all at once. I know, John.
Well, it's completed now, and he hasn't watched it. So no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I was trying to save him there, but it didn't work out.
I gotta. Yeah, I didn't really have an excuse. I feel like I've been busy. Like, there's a lot going on.
So, John, are you excited that Mark Hamill's coming back to the interview about the...
I'm over it now. No, I'm over it.
Yeah,
we're gonna
probably
get to
won't
the
even
show.
watch that one, right, John?
We're gonna get to the Mando fan show episode, and you're just gonna be like, I don't even want to talk about
Oh my god, it's like Porgs all over again.
I'm gonna be talking about this forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Lacey, I assume now you're doubling down on Michael Waldron coming. Are you?
Oh yes,
pumped
Loki
on
was
that?
amazing. I've been actually watching with Matt, and Matt is not like the biggest Marvel fan or anything. He really enjoyed it, and he made me wait to watch it. And he didn't do that with any of the other shows. He made me wait to watch the Loki shows because he found it so interesting. The last episode, he said, could have been done in 5 minutes. Like, they just really drew it out, to him at least. I don't think so, but it was really, really interesting. And the way that the story is building and building and building, you're like, where is this going to go? It makes me super excited for Star Wars, because that's something that I haven't been guessing in a while with Star Wars, if that makes sense. Like, I haven't been like, I don't know where this is going to go.
Yeah.
And I love doing that. That's the best part of being a fan. And that's why I think I always flash back to TFA, because we left that movie being like, what next? Is she a Kenobi? Like, what does this mean? What's next? Where's Luke? And if that's the best part to me of being a fan, is like having that moment where you just get to guess things and make stuff up and be like, whatever. Not to the point of like making stuff up that you're presenting it as truth. I'm saying speculating.
Yeah. Or that you speculate.
The show is great for speculation. You're like, how does this play into Doctor Strange? How is this going to play into Spider-Man later in the year? And it talks into what you were just saying, James, which you love about Marvel, is the connectivity of everything.
That was an accident.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, again, Marvel is kind of taking the cake here for this type of stuff when it comes to their TV shows playing into how the movies are going to play out.
Like Black
now,
Widow.
Now
yeah.
I feel like I'm watching Loki and going like, okay, if I watch Doctor Strange and I didn't see Loki, or I didn't see WandaVision or something like that, I might be missing an aspect of this. And I know there's a different element to it, and because it's Star Wars, but I would totally be okay if the movies were still kind of like that, where it's like you go see the movies and the characters show up and things happen that were based on the events that happen in, say, Mandalorian or something like that.
Right.
Like, not so much like, I don't know. I think that stuff's interesting. Like, right now already, like, we have 3 Marvel shows that are out, and we have only had 2 of Star Wars, but it's the 2 of the same series, so it's kind of tricky. But I want Star Wars to get to that point, and we're almost there. You know, we've talked about this a couple times.
I can't
we're
wait
getting Andor,
for next
we're
year.
getting Obi-Wan,
Yeah.
we're getting Book of Boba Fett, we're getting Mandalorian season 3.
Marvel
Like,
fans are so
things,
spoiled.
It's going to happen soon, but the thing is like, I want Star Wars to get to that point, and then I want like a movie to drop. And that's why I would think it would be great if Rogue Squadron was in that era after Return of the Jedi, because they could maybe play in with
Connected.
you know, maybe they could show the Mandalorian back when he was still the bounty hunter. Like he could be in that movie and they could encounter him and they could have a scene with him. I don't know. I think that stuff would be interesting, and it raises the live action stuff. It pushes the Disney Plus platform. I get why Disney would do it, but I'm even cool with that stuff happening because I'm just a fan of that type of connectivity and cross brand like that.
Yeah, synergy.
Cross franchise or whatever.
I just love that I like Marvel enough, but not too much, where I don't feel pressured to watch it immediately, and I'm okay.
How dare
with
you not watch it?
True. How
John,
dare
if you
I?
haven't seen Ant-Man 2, you're dead to me. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't think I have. Honestly. All right. Thank you to everyone for listening and watching, being a part of TRB. Like Lacey said before, subscribe to YouTube, all that stuff. Make sure also your audio apps, wherever you get your podcast feeds, hit us up there. Follow, like, whatever you got to do, and share us with a friend. Word of mouth is how we grow. One of our listeners told us that they were wearing a Make Solo 2 Happen shirt. Someone came up to them, said, I love it. And he told Resistance Broadcast. So very cool stuff. Appreciate that. Star Wars Newsnet, like James said before, that's the place to go for all of it. All your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. Johnny Hoey on Twitter. StarWarsNewsNet.com, doing writing and editing over there. And of course, my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. I think the next one we're going to be doing is The Rock with Nick Cage and Sean Connery. We just did Wayne's World.
I've seen
recently. That's a really good movie. Very excited to do that one.
Yeah.
All right, James.
Yes? Where can people find me online?
James, we've done this 445 times.
So anyway, as I was saying about Marvel connectivity.
James, are you excited for Luke to come back? And
As I was saying about the multiverse.
Yeah, mostly about his just reaction to being on screen. I think again, as with the green saber. I think I think that at Myra Trunks on Twitter and Instagram is where you can find me.
Yeah.
People could find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gilleran. And then also there is a recap up on Star Wars Newsnet of my Hasbro interview. So definitely check that out. And I promise eventually, once I get reorganized in my life with all the craziness this past week, I will do a bunch of unboxings for you guys.
Very good. So enough about Luke. It's time to talk about Darth Vader, which we're going to do on Thursday. We're going to have a little fun imagining what a Darth Vader live-action Disney Plus series would be like. So start thinking about that yourself, and join us Thursday morning with another episode right here on TRB. See you around, kids.